from Tel Aviv is Jonathan to talk about this. I see where you're, Jonathan Greenblatt. I see where you're coming from here, but the difficulty now is where this goes. Now that the president has actually come out and said there was blame on both sides, there were bad people on both sides, and effectively many of those, or some of those, who were there for the right were only there to protest against the statues being removed.
Yeah, it's a good question, Richard. Where do we go from here? The good news is that across the political spectrum, the business spectrum, from all quarters of America, there was universal condemnation of this rally. Nearly all of the country and leaders around the world, as you just mentioned, realized that there is no place for hate in our society, that neo-Nazis and white supremacists don't have a seat at the table. What's baffling is that this seems to be a question that our president is unable to answer.
Donald Trump has made his support amongst the Jewish community, he talks about it frequently, both from his relationships in New York and from down in Florida. How dangerous is this for that relationship between American Jewry and, say, well, first of all, the Republican Party, even though they may lean more Democrat overall, and secondly, to Donald Trump?
Look, I think this is a very dangerous time. The Jewish community remembers. And we remember when presidents, going back to Eisenhower and Kennedy and Reagan and Carter and Bush and Clinton and Obama, all in their own way stood up to racists and anti-Semites. What we have now is really unprecedented. We have a president who has equivocated on what is absolutely unequivocal, the need to face down evil. There are no two sides here. And look, I'm talking to you today from Tel Aviv, and in Israel, a country that has suffered from car rammings. It's an act of terror. And we just, of course, had the funeral today in America of this latest terror victim, Heather Heyer.
Right,
so I think the bottom line is this. I don't know what's in Donald Trump's head.
I just want to jump in on that.
I was going to say, Richard, I don't know what's in his head or heart.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The reason I want to jump in is because I want to know what's your organization going to do about it? I guess that's what I'm sort of saying. Is something like the Anti-Defamation League, are you going to take up the cudgel against Donald Trump, the metaphorical cudgel, against Donald Trump, lobbying in a way that basically says that, you know, he may be president for the next 3 years and change, but thereafter we're certainly going to support anybody but Trump?
Well, look, we're a nonprofit in the United States and therefore have to be apolitical. And the good news is that there's nothing political or partisan in fighting prejudice. That's why U.S. senators from the GOP like Rubio and Hatch and McCain and many others came out against this right away, immediately, forcefully. What's the ADL going to do? We are going to fight back. We're going to fight back against the fascists and neo-Nazis. What does that mean? It means we're not going to wait for the White House. We're going to be working with state and local leaders, the business community, other nonprofits and clergy. Richard, the bottom line is this. There are no two sides to this argument. It's good versus evil. Overwhelmingly, the American people reject evil, and we're going to be taking up the cause to engage from police chiefs and school superintendents, mayors and governors together to make sure that we all push back against bigotry and intolerance in all forms.
Jonathan Greenblatt, thank you for joining us from Tel Aviv. We much appreciate it. Thank you.